how to find clients that will pay you the most amount of money for being a kids entertainer at their event. In this video, I'm going to break down how important it is to get a client with a good lifetime value, and also break down the emotional value and the monetary value of that client. It's not actually about the first gig or the second gig, it's about the lifetime value of that client. I'm going to show you now my experience of all the clients I have as a children's entertainer and show you the weight of how I would weigh them based on whether I like working with them, how much money they give me, how awkward it is to get paid from them, all of those sorts of things. You don't want to waste your time going with the wrong ones. You need that time invested in the correct clients to make sure you get the most amount of money as fast as possible. So we're going to start off with birthday party clients. Parents' birthday parties, my favourite actually. This is where I feel that I have my emotional value into there, and I love this job. Birthday parties. I'm going to pick them up in any old order and then I'll put them in order for you. Pubs and restaurants, they're great as well. Usually go for face painting, balloon twisting, something cheap and cheerful, but the lifetime value on these people are about 10 years, longer than that. Places of worship. I get booked for a lot of Jewish places, which is a bit odd. They have these festivals once a year, or sort of, come in, we'll entice you in with an open day type festivals, and so you can always tell when they're going to be happening as well. Don't like them as much as childcare centres. Easy money, this one. Usually they have a budget. The profit ones do. Non-profit, you don't usually get booked in for as much, but the ones where they don't say non-profit, we love children, then childcare centres are great. Christmas especially, little kindergarten graduations, all of those sorts of things, and it's really lovely. Annoying thing is pop gates. I hate those flipping things. You have to spend about 15 minutes at least to get there earlier because those pop gates, signing in, all that sort of stuff. Various kids clubs. Clubs like Scouts clubs, netball clubs, football clubs, they always have you as well. They're a little bit harder to find out who is in the person that's involved in the events at that time, because it changes. It's usually a mum, and then when her children leave, it changes to another mum. But they do come around quite often, so you've got to find the real person with the real money, which is like the treasurer or something like that. Schools are great for underage stays, which we have in Australia. Don't think I've seen them in England. Not sure about America, but yeah, schools are great for Christmas events and things like that. But again, teachers move around. You can never find the right person. Otherwise, you're on the phone trying to get the correct one, and that gets tricky. Trying to find the real one. It's not easy. It's not like birthday party where they phone you up. Hello, can I have a party, please? Other entertainers. This one's a great one. Be friends with other entertainers because they will help you get work. One, if they're sick, they're just desperate to try and find somebody. Two, they'll give it to their friends over trying to get an extra $50 for the show. They will just give it to their friends. It's easier. So what goes around comes around in life. So make sure you become friends with other entertainers. Just because they're nice, usually. Agents is another one. Now, agents, I find they're a little bit tiring with agents. They always have sometimes they're a little bit tricky to work with. They have you have to be a bit bendable with your rules. For example, if they book you for a party in a festival and their agreement says that the client doesn't have to pay, you've got to expect that. So you don't want to get the agent, expecting the agent to pay for you. You're going to have to run into some of those sort of problems with two contracts clashing. So either way, make sure that you always book with an agent indoors if you're worried about rainy day, because otherwise, if you end up getting on the agent's nerves, they will never work with you again. And they really do give you good money. Sometimes you have to go a little bit lower than you normally would, because again, they're doing the work for you. They're doing the advertising for you. They're doing the marketing for you. And they're usually some sort of hiccups here and there, and they'll be the one that sorts that out. So you basically are paying them to sort that out and get an easy gig. Regional shows. So regional shows happen over here in Australia. Not sure too much about sort of England. You go to different counties in England, and I'm sure they do in America. But regional shows are great because it's just fun. You get more money for going there. You get a little hotel, and you have your nice proper dinner and your little plane, and you get away from the kids. Yay! yay! But they're harder to get to, again, because everyone moves around. The regional shows are usually made up of volunteers. So usually you get there, nobody knows what they're doing. You have to expect it as well. I love doing festivals. It's fun to go on a big stage, but there's some things with festivals what I don't like. For example, parking. Unless I always charge this much for my show, and I say, hey, if you get me parking right close to the stage, I'll drop it down to here. But really, that's where I would have done the show anyway, usually. But I don't like getting there an extra hour early just to hop on a bus to drive 20 minutes and then wait. It's just so annoying. So festivals are up there as well, and they usually happen, of course, every year as well. And the people usually stay there a lot, so you know who to contact the next year. On top of that, they're usually organised event managers, so they have a little folder. So the next person, if they leave, there's a folder with your name on it. Hi, it's me, book me, book me. I love shopping centres. Normally you get a sort of different variety of children. You get to do a few shows a day, and sometimes you can leave the stuff in an empty shop, which is locked. Sometimes the parking's a bit of a pain. You have to walk through your shop, sort of the shopping centre with your trolleys. But it's not too bad because there's a million trolleys there. Just take one there, one from the one supermarket, one from another, and you just wheel it through with all your props in it. Just use the shopping trolleys that are already there. And vacation care centres. So vacation care centres are, this fell over. They are great for regular work, and also you can do a price per child. So when you've got 100 children and it's $7, which doesn't sound very much, that's $700, which is about £400, American 500, I'm not sure. And this here is great for regular work as well. And you can, if you have different varieties of things, like we do disco parties, magic shows, character shows, all those things, you can keep pestering them for that. Again, all of these people though, they need work. They won't just magically remember you. It's not like you go to the hairdresser and you just, every single 6 weeks, and you seem to go to the same hairdresser. They will forget about you within a moment. So let's go through all of these and see which ones I would recommend you being at the top of your hierarchy of people that you should contact for shows. Now, what weights are we looking at? We're looking at different types of things in regards to weight. One is emotional value, so whether you like doing them or not. The other one is how much money they're going to give you per show. Next one, how much money they're going to give you over the big long run of that time as well. Also, how much money they're going to give you over the lifetime value of that client. If you have to outsource your work to another entertainer, for example, vacation care centres, I'm not going to be dressing up as a princess and prancing around. That's not going to happen, which will reduce, they'll have this much money for me, but my money will end up like this. But if I go to schools and I have something every single month for something, probably 6 months, then I don't have any external fees out of that because it's all just magic shows. Or if it's birthday parties, they will usually have me back again and again for Johnny's little sister wants exactly the same as what Johnny had a year ago, so I don't have to pay anybody who's external. Also, whether or not they need a variety of shows as well. So, for example, pubs and restaurants, they want a variety of shows. That's great, but it's also a little bit more organising when you've got other people who are going to be doing the same show. How easy are they to get the money from? Do you know the worst company that I have had for getting money out of? It's always been McDonald's. I don't know why. They've got tons of money and they're always 3 months, 6 months. You pestering. If you still got my money yet? A little bit of I have to go to head office. All that sort of stuff with McDonald's. Drives me nuts. And also, of those things that I've just talked about, some of them are bigger weights than others, depending on the type of person that you are. I'm one of these people who, I just want an easy life. I don't want to be, this is why I quit the cruise ships. I did not want to be standing around waiting for visas when the Chinese embassy was closed a month because it was a Chinese New Year. And then I had one day when I was meant to be with my sister in London. She definitely hasn't over this. And I'm standing in line, freezing cold, with my passport, trying to get a Chinese visa, just for one day of being on the cruise ship. It was only in China one day for that whole big stint. And I was just like, I don't want this. I don't care how much money they give me. It's like being I could have chosen to be a doctor, but I didn't. I don't want that job. I don't want a job of messing around on airplanes, getting the plane ticket which says Stephanie Lee-Harper is my middle name, and then having, oh my goodness, I've got issues. Someone get me a paper bag. So we're going to put these in order right now. These are the ones that I recommend. I always love birthday parties, so they're going to be at the top. Money's good. You don't really have to do very much. You just put an ad on Google Ads, and then they phone you up and they say, we'll book you. Or they're word of mouth. Easy peasy, and they pay okay. So next one I probably recommend is pubs and restaurants. Very good. They're boring sometimes. They're like glorified babysitting, but it's weekly money, and honestly, the amount of money that comes from one person, is astonishing. So that would be my next one. Other entertainers is my next one. I have a friend called Magic Glenn, and he basically hits me up with a whole load of gigs just to be kind. Because you've got that system of just doing what goes around comes around, you just give them the price and they just go, here's the client, and they'll give it to you. This is nice. Then I would choose shopping centres. And the reason why I would choose shopping centres is because, again, they're organised. They have like a marketing area. They usually know about you, but you have to keep on top of these people because they do move around and they will forget, they've got you in a folder somewhere, but they've also got like 100 other people trying to do the same thing. So you've got to send them proper photos of you in a shopping centre. Do you know what I did once? Me and my friend went Magic Glen. Oh my goodness, we were trying to get magic shows for Christmas. So he dressed up he dressed up as Santa. I dressed up in my elf sort of costume, and we went to their Santa's grotto and did photos, and then we put them on a flyer and sent it to the shopping centres. Not the one that we've been to, it might be a bit obvious. If you don't have a Santa's grotto, dress up, walk in there, just pose. Nobody notices, nobody cares, and if they do, just go, oh, sorry, we're at the wrong shopping centre. This is for golf. I also like doing festivals. I don't know why. It gives me a bit of an ego boost when you're up on the big stages and you're in a local. I'm in Brisbane, so a lot of people know each other, and it's just fun to have your little photo on the flyer.
Pick up me. Oh look, I'm a celebrity. I'm a celebrity.
I love that bit. Also, as I said, I make sure that I get the best parking. I'm working at this place called the Redcliffe Kite Festival soon, and I always say it's this much, but if you get me good parking, it's this much. And again, I would not do it if they wanted me to pay me this much and I had to do travel. I do not like traveling, so that's that. You might like traveling, you might be happy with that. And again, as I said, it's how you want to do your shows. Good thing about festivals is as well, I just give out flyers too. Top tip on that, if you turn up in a big stage and you have nobody there, which sometimes happens, you just start calling out. Your first part of your show is, all right, everybody, who wants free stuff? Quick, come on over here, come over here. And you give out anything. Balloons, stickers. You just, oh no, I've got to grab something. You just grab it from your box and you just start giving them out. I don't usually do business cards, but magnets, flyers, that sort of stuff. And they're like, and they're so desperate to have those things. And then you say, right, stay here. I might have something else for you. And you don't. You just go straight to your show, and you've got all this crowd of people. I love childcare centres, and if you get in well with the owner, then they will have you back all the time. Childcare centre owners don't usually move around very much because usually they've got children of their own there, and then the children usually move to the school somewhere close by. So they're there for a good decade. You've got a decade's worth of work there. I love vacation care centres, but they have got harder over the years because other agencies have come in and sort of stomped on the individual performer. One top tip that I never did for years is do price per child, but minimum price. So my minimum price for a balloon twisting workshop is $550, I think. And then it's price per child at like $10 per child. I had 5 children recently. They paid $550. If it were me, I'd just go, kids, go off, is $110, and and your parents will be happy. I can't believe it. Anyway, so I recommend going for these, but again, you've got to pester them. Regional shows. Again, with this sort of stuff, you've got to be cold calling. Sometimes you might get every blue moon, some random place, but really they have no idea who you are. So you have got to phone them. I just put regional, so South Australia, if I want to go to South Australia, and then I'll phone them up. Hello, who's organising the events this year? And again, it's difficult with regional shows because they do move around quite a bit. So every year you've got to cold call them. But at the moment I'm charging about $3,000 for a day's work, and you get there and it's just fun to do. It's fun I love Australia, so it's fun to see different parts of Australia. So you do it more for the fun of it rather than the money side. I'm not great at telling agents who I am and giving them proper details and things. I really have got to do that, and you'll see me do this in videos, phoning up people, cold calling them, and trying to make sure that they've got all of the bits necessary to sell me. Agents, as I said, you have got to go slightly cheaper, it depends, but if you want to get proper work, you've got to make sure that you look after your agents. So yes, they're going to get money from you. Try and make sure that they get a good watch, because then they'll be happy, you'll be happy, they'll get you more work. It's like buying a bulk value. You just can't see the end yet. So that's what I recommend with agents. You're going to get agents again that have got like a high ego. Just deal with it. That's just how it goes. Goals, and these are all at the bottom really. I don't necessarily chase them too much because it's sporadic work for them. And if you contact them and you're chasing after those people, you may as well be taking it and going to pubs and restaurants. Or parents who've had a birthday party with you before. Just make sure that you look after this top echelon of people rather than doing these, because you're going to spend a lot more time trying to chase these for not very much money. So schools are great for things like under 8's day, which is a thing here where they celebrate being good if you're under 8. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? What about if you're 9 and you're good? No, shove off. Then we've got various kids clubs, that things like netballers, stuff like that. Again, it's when they've got their own special football or netball show, so you don't really know when that's on either. You can probably guess it's going to be around Christmas time. I don't know, there's like seasons or something to do with sport. And places of worship, again, they have their special times as well. There's Eid, E-I-D, I think I'm saying that right correctly, and I think that's not Jewish, I don't know. But all of these things, unless you're in that religion, you might not know. So what I do is all of these ones down here, 1, 2, 3, I put a web page on, make sure it's really well SEO'd. I'll talk about SEO in another video, and then you'll get work from them, from people looking, or you'll get the work from the entertainers who they've contacted and who are not available. So yeah, just leave them down there.
Like me, please.